What is up, my dudes? Jordan here, and today in this video we're going to discuss the chapter 306 spoilers for My Hero Academia. Now I'm just going to be reading them. These were found on Twitter by this user. I am of the mindset that some spoilers are worth reading. This is a very monumental section in My Hero Academia. There have been many rumors of this series in general getting closer and closer to the end of the series, and these spoilers are sort of solidifying that this might be the end game of My Hero Academia. Now I'm just going to be reading these off, and like I said, I found this on Twitter by this user again. So let's just get right into it. The title of this chapter is called The Beginning of the End. The chapter starts with All Might's internal monologue saying that although he didn't hear Deku's words, he can feel it. The conversation with the predecessors, Oath's truth, the conflict of his teacher, and basically what that's saying to me is it's just sort of tagging along the end of chapter 305 where Deku was having that meeting with the past predecessors of One For All. When we went outside Deku's room, we could see Best Jeanist and Hawks were waiting for him, and that Hawks asked him about One For All. Endeavor told Hawks that Shiggy and All For One were aiming for Deku specifically. All Might decided to tell Hawks and Best Jeanist everything. So at this point, more and more people are discovering what One For All actually is in the series, which is huge because at the points before this, not many people knew about this at all, and anybody that's inherited One For All is long gone except for All Might and Deku. The next scene we can see a press conference of Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Jeanist. Endeavor admitted that what Dabi said was true and he bowed to apologize. Those who watched them on television showed their disappointment. The press then asked about Best Jeanist's death. Hawks explained that it's a plan they made to be able to infiltrate LOV. He admitted that what Dabi said about his villain dad and the fact that he killed a villain was the truth. Hawks apologized for those. So basically, I don't really understand why Hawks is having to apologize. He did do some shady work with the League of Villains and the Liberation Army, and the whole plan with Best Jeanist where they faked his death was a little sketchy for a pro hero in this series. But overall, in my mindset, Hawks really hasn't done anything wrong up until this point. Moving on. One of the reporters told Endeavor that her mother was heavily injured due to Gigantamachi. I have the hardest time saying his name. The big dude's stampede. She couldn't accept that they only bow and apologize calmly because these things happen because of Endeavor's past mistakes. Endeavor asked her if he sobbed and apologized, will that do it for her? She was mad while screaming that the heroes should make it up by handling all the villains. But then she calmed down and Endeavor continued with, as you said, that's the only way Endeavor could atone. So basically it is still the Endeavor redemption arc at this point, with Dabi proclaiming everything that happened in their past with his childhood and Endeavor's dark secrets. He has got a lot of making up to do with not only his family, but being the #1 hero with the world in general. He has got a lot of explaining to do about the past. You can really tell he feels sorry and he truly wants to make amends with his past transgressions. Moving on again, Best Jeanist continued to explain that with the number of heroes decreasing greatly, they need to make their jurisdiction smaller. So the government has decided everyone will evacuate to huge establishments with security systems. UA is one of them. All the students' family had evacuated to UA already. We can see Mitsuki and Inoko in a panel. So at this point, UA, the high school, has become a safe space for civilians because after the events in the previous chapters, the world is pretty beat up right now and there is a lot of unknown in the hero community. So right now things are looking pretty grim for Deku and everybody else involved. Moving on again, the press objected and showed their complaints because who would want to evacuate with no certainty of future? Not sure until when they should evacuate. Endeavor explained that it's for the sake of the future. He said everyone should just put all their blame and insecurities towards Endeavor and don't blame other people who put their lives on the line from now on. So again, really this is just Endeavor furthering his amends, trying to get more people to realize and see that he truly is sorry for everything that he's done. And honestly, throughout the series in general, you can tell that Endeavor has a lot of blame on himself. He has a lot of insecurities, a lot of guilt and shame about all the terrible things he did to his family and friends in the past. In the next panel, we saw a narrator saying that the heroes were greatly filtered by the criteria of the expectations of people. Then no one could become a hero, but there are heroes who still got back up. We see panels of Wash, Mikuro, and Mount Lady, Azawa, Rocklock. Sorry, that last one was blurry, and I'm just reading this thing, so if I'm coming off not particularly articulate, that is why. And we also see Dabi saying, so apparently we didn't bully them enough? Interesting. The press asked Endeavor about One for All, but Endeavor said he doesn't know about it, to protect Deku and All Might. And the next panel was the 1A students in the UA dorm room shown to have received the letter from Deku. We see a glimpse of Uraraka's letter. Basically, at this point, with the glimpse of two of the past predecessors that we don't know yet, Deku's determination to basically save Shiggy and save the world with One for All and all the new powers he possesses, it's really driving him to understand truly why All for One and Shigaraki are after him. And at this point, he wrote a letter to all of his classmates saying, hey, I'm leaving. One for All was, in fact, given to me by All Might. So with these spoilers, we are seeing, in fact, that Deku has written a letter to his classmates proclaiming that he has One for All and he got it from All Might. That is huge because the entire series has been based around keeping this a secret, keeping this power, One for All, a secret from everybody else. And now in the last few chapters with Dabi's proclamation of Endeavor's past and that One for All exists, more and more and more people are finding out actually what is One for All and what it is all about. And to go further on, she reads the letter, and I'll read some of Deku's letter for you. If what it takes to be called a hero is someone who should not be wary when walking tough, difficult road, then when they're in pain, who will? And then Uraraka basically is reading it, crying, saying, Baka, you're stupid. You can tell she's just very, very going to be frustrated at the fact that Deku is doing this on his own, because a lot of his character development thus far in the series has been relying on his friends and the teammates and their coordination together, all of that. The next panel, we see that the time skips to April, and the narration said that Deku had left the Academia, basically. In the last panel, Deku said, big villain. At this point, it is a few months in the future, and Deku is a vigilante now. More or less a vigilante. He has distanced himself from UA enough to protect them, and has his own path now of defeating Shigaraki, All for One, and the villains that are basically taking over their town and the world at this point. Now, with future rumors of My Hero Academia coming to an end, this is sort of almost like the beginning of an endgame for My Hero Academia. Deku deciding to become a vigilante and distance himself from UA and his friends in general is furthering the point of this is now getting more serious. This is getting to a point in the story where things are definitely starting to heat up, and it's getting to a point where you can sort of see the end of the series if in fact All for One and One for All are going to come to a clash more or less at the end. This is definitely getting closer and closer and closer to the end of My Hero Academia. Hey, if you like up-to-date analyses, information, cool things about anime and manga, then please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it.